What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. This past year, I sold over 1,000 items reselling. I'm going to look at my entire year's worth of data to set my 2020 goals, looking at my data to set my goals to see what is working for me. So stay tuned to see how I do it. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am a reseller and on PoshMark and on eBay, and then I also have an analytical dashboard, sales dashboard for all resellers. You can input your PoshMark sales report and then customize whatever other platforms that you sell on to give you a comprehensive picture of how you're doing. And it also looks at PoshMark sales data, like your offer to likes, your bundles, your repeat customers by state. Lots of really good information. I'll be looking at it today as well to help me set my 2020 goals. And then also an inventory dashboard, which looks at how your inventory is selling, what top brands are selling, what categories are selling, which apartments are selling, by size data, by subcategory. So you sell a lot of shoes, but what kind of shoes are you selling? Lots of really helpful information to help you source smarter and not harder. And I'll also be looking at that today to help me set my goals for 2020. Before we get started on looking at setting my goals, I do want to know I am doing a huge survey, PoshMark data, to help the community figure out what drives sales. Is it followers? Is it listing? Is it active listings? Is it community shares? All of the PoshMark stats that we're given, I want to look at those on a large scale and see what is driving our sales. What should we be spending our time on? And the only way that I can do this is if you fill out this survey. It is 100% completely anonymous. I do not know who is filling it out. You don't put in your name. There's no way for me to get the back end to figure out on Google Form who filled out what. So it is completely anonymous. But the more data that I have, the better I can make these assumptions and make these trends. Like, hey, the more followers you have, you are actually making more sales and stuff like that. So definitely make sure to fill out the survey. Share the survey with everybody that you know. The more data that I have, the better. You don't have to be a big seller. You have to have sold one item on PoshMark to have data. That's it. And the more data that I have and variance in data, the better assumptions that I can make. So please, please, please fill that out. It's also going to be on my Instagram. So make sure to share there. You can share it to your stories and make a post, share the link, whatever you want to do. Please get that information out there so that I can do this. Because it is completely anonymous, I won't be able to email you or contact you with the results. So make sure to follow me here and hit the bell, and then also follow me on Instagram, because that's where I will be reporting back the results for everybody. And then I am having a 50% off sale through the end of the year. So the code for that is Happy New Year, all caps, for 50% off of the dashboards. If you're watching this video past the new year, I am constantly having sales here and there. So follow me on Instagram to see those sales. Let's get started. So today I am going to go through my entire year, my entire 2019. And something that's interesting about this, and not many people know, I've only been reselling for 1 year. I hit my 1 year on PoshMark in this month, December 2019. I do have a background in upcycling. So upcycling is finding things at thrift stores and then altering them and reselling them. So I do have a little bit of background that has helped me. I've been thrifting for like 15 years for upcycling, and then I was on Etsy upcycling for like 5 years. So I have a little bit of background, but straight reselling on eBay and PoshMark, I've only been doing it for 1 year. So we're going to look at my entire year's worth of data, see what was working, and help me set my 2020 goals. Before we do that, I'm not going to do a December financial video because I'm doing this one. I will do a what sold video, but I'm going to quickly look at my financial dashboard to see how my December was. This is not part of the analytical dashboards that you do. This is a separate financial worksheet that I keep for CPA purposes, but it's a quick picture of how I did. So this is comparing December 2019 to my year-to-date averages. I bought 10% less items. I wasn't sourcing as much in December, which, I mean, makes sense, right? We were really busy. Items sold, December was not a great month for me compared to the rest of the year. I sold 38% less items than I've sold on average for the year. My average sale though, so how much each item was selling at, was up 15% to year-to-date average. My average item cost, so how much I was spending on items, was also up 20%. So this means I was purchasing items that were a higher price, which means that my profit is going to be lower depending on what I can sell those items for. This is because I didn't have great luck at the bins this month. I was doing retail thrift stores a lot more than the bins, but I do want to know I buy based off of average sale price. So if I'm shopping retail and the prices are higher, then I am only buying higher price items that I'm still going to make a good profit on. My average margin, so this is the percent difference, is flat. I mean, it's 0.7%, and that's because my average sale price was up as well as my inventory costs. I am selling on eBay. My net revenue on eBay was down, and this is actually because of returns. I had 3 big ticket item returns in December that I actually sold in November, which makes eBay bookkeeping so hard because my December was actually up from previous years, but then I had to take out my returns from November out of December money, so it looks like my December was down. My fees are around 20%. eBay shipping is around 10% of my purchase items. Those are just things I like to track to kind of see how eBay compares to other platforms. My sales revenue, so how much money I made in sales, is up 43% from my year-to-date average. A couple of reasons for this. So this is my total revenue. This will include my dashboard sales. And I did a really big push. I came out with the 2 new dashboards in November, or at the end of November, beginning of December, and I did a really big social media push for those. So my Etsy sales were up from that. But then also my average sale price was up. So while I was selling less items, I was making more money because I was selling higher price items. My total expenses were up, and that's mainly due to shopping more at retail thrift stores. I was buying higher ticket items, but there are also items that I'm going to sell higher. So you got to know your data to know what it means. It doesn't concern me. And then my net income. This is how much I brought home. No, this is how much gets taxed. So this is how much after I take out my expenses did I make, and it was up 59%. So while I was selling less items in December and I had my worst month of the year, my net income was up. So that's always a good thing. Now I'm going to walk you step by step. I've put in my data for the sake of time, but I haven't really looked at it. I am going to set my goals with you guys. I want to show you my thought process when I look at my data, the aha moments, what I'm actually looking at. So I'm going to walk you through the sales dashboard to figure out what strategies I want to change, and then I will go to the inventory dashboard to figure out reselling, what I'm going to change to hit those goals. So let's get started. This is what a PoshMark sales report looks like. For the sake of time, I've already exported it from PoshMark, but I wanted you to see what it looks like. It's a raw CSV file. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you can tell from this. But it's a quick and easy, so like I said, I've already put it in there, but you would just copy this and put it into the sales report, into this tab. There you go. And then all of your data would populate. There is a PoshMark tab. I do not share numbers because I don't want you comparing to me. I want you to learn how to compare to yourself. But if I did share numbers, and in your dashboard, these numbers would be populated to kind of see on a month how you did. I want to start by looking at my total revenue. So I started selling, you can see here at the end of November, I was selling a couple of my items out of my closet, things that I lost some weight after pregnancy and I wanted to get rid of some stuff. And then in December, I was like, I'm going to actually start sourcing to resell. So that's what this green number is from last year. From last year, I have increased my revenue 131%, which is pretty exciting. My total revenue. So this graph is like really interesting to me. How did I do for the year? And you can see kind of this steady decline. So some of this is seasonal, right? I'll have to look next year to see how it is. Some of this is right around this area is when, I was starting to see a flat line. Even though I was sourcing a lot of items and still listing and increasing my active items, I wasn't seeing an increase in my sales. And so I was like, why is that? And that's why I started looking at the dashboard and started looking at my data. So this is around the time that I started building the dashboard, which took a lot of time away from reselling. So you'll see a little bit of a decline there as well. But you can start to see, it's pretty apparent when I started looking at my data. In the summer, I started really looking at my data and using my data to drive how I was sourcing. And you can see that huge increase. It's an overall trend. Sometimes you'll get little dips in the data. This is likely, I took a vacation, or I think the kids' back to school month was like really chaotic. Or just, seasonal things that go into that, but on general, an upward trend. This dip is absolutely explained by the dashboard. I was spending a ton of time in October, towards the end of October and November, making the new dashboards. I worked like 5 or 6 hours on Thanksgiving to get it out by December 1. So this is explained by mine, not concerned with that at all. I know what that is. But then my revenue picked right back up. And this can also, so this revenue picked up. We looked at my December numbers, an uptick in Etsy sales, and then also from cross-posting. I do want to actually, let me look at, so I did pull out because Etsy isn't, I want to look at just reselling too, like the items that I'm reselling, taking out Etsy, because Etsy is mainly dashboard sales. So I do want to look at, let me go to the next one. Sorry. I do want to look at those numbers without Etsy, but I'm going to actually look at these graphs. So these graphs. This is a simulator. So if you have the dashboard, you would go in and put in, I want to make $10,000 or whatever your goal is. You would put it there, and these would tell you, your average sale price that you need, or how many items that you need to sell to hit that goal. Those are really the two variables that you can move to make more money. You can work on decreasing your inventory costs as well, but that one, it's hard in the business that we're in. Our inventory costs tend to be really low anyways, and sometimes you just, you shop at a thrift store and shirts are $5, you can't really move that one quite as easily. So my total sales, let's look. These are the total number of sales, total number that I've sold. And this is what I wanted to look at. So I did a screenshot of this for the sake of time. I took out my Etsy sales to see how I did just for reselling, and my December is down. You can see a steady decline in the total number of sales that I'm doing. And so something that I'm wondering, there's two things I think that are leading to the steady decline of how many items I'm selling. One, I think, is because I'm increasing my average sale price. I think increasing your average sale price means that items are going to maybe sit a little bit longer, and I'm not going to be able to sell as many items because people are a little bit more reserved with spending $100 than they are with spending $10. However, you can see this steady increase in my average sale price. And that shows when we looked at my revenue. So even though I'm selling less items, my revenue tends to be about flat. And for me personally, I think this is a strategy that is working well because I am spending more time doing other things, mainly the dashboard. That was eBay and Etsy, or eBay and PoshMark that we were just looking at, and I'm noticing a decline for both of those. But I'm spending about half the time on reselling because I'm now doing YouTube and I'm doing Instagram and I'm building dashboards and I'm supporting those dashboards. So that's something I think I'm going to stick with my strategy of increasing my average sale price because I am spending less time reselling, but it's still bringing in a decent revenue stream for me. And let's look at my platforms. So this is I sell on eBay, on Etsy, and Poshmark. Etsy is going to be mainly dashboard sales, and about 20% of my items sold. I'm going to look at revenue. What's bringing me the most money? So 13% is coming from Etsy, 5% from eBay, 80% from Poshmark. So Poshmark is really the meat of my revenue for the month, second to Etsy, and then eBay. eBay is bringing in my highest average sale price, but I don't cross-post everything to eBay. I only have my higher price items on eBay, so that's why that's the contributing factor there. I do want to look at, so I only started the dashboard and eBay halfway through the year, and this graph is the entire year. So I did quickly pull that information out to look at, and this is what that graph is. So this graph is only September through December when I had the dashboard and I started on eBay. And this is probably a truer picture of where I am now. Etsy is about 30% of my revenue for the month. eBay is about 12% and Poshmark is 9%. So this is there's only so much time in the day. And I need to figure out what is the best split of my time. And I really am considering stop cross-posting. So a couple things that this graph tells me. This tells me Etsy. People like the dashboard. And I'm getting this from the community. I'm getting that they want to be able to take it to the next level. They like that they can look at their data. And so I probably will start focusing a little bit more on the dashboard, offering support for it. I've considered doing like webinars or classes or consults. You have this data, but you want help looking at it. So leave notes down below if that's something that you would be interested in, or if you have ideas of things that you would like to see to help you support the data and learn how to do it. And then eBay, there's only so much time. eBay is the smallest portion of revenue, and it takes me a lot of time on eBay. Bookkeeping alone takes me much longer than it does on Posh because they don't just take the fees out. They send you an invoice, and the invoice is in a calendar month. It's a billing month, which means I'm having to go through line by line and allocate those to the appropriate months based off of how I do my bookkeeping. So it takes me a lot of time. It takes me longer to ship. It takes me longer to list. And I pay someone to help me list, so then I'm spending money there. So I'm making, less money on eBay just because I'm paying someone to help me list. It takes me longer to ship. It takes trying to figure out all the complexities. Returns, you have to do returns about once a month or once a week, once every other week. I have to go in and do a claim for someone who didn't pay. So it is taking me a little bit more time. I'm going to give it, let me put that down. I'm going to give it to quarter one to figure out if I want to hold off on eBay. But that's something I've been considering, and this data is kind of telling me it might be something I want to do. I am going to give it one more month because I want to really get a picture. It takes time to build up steam on eBay. So I don't want to pull the trigger too fast because my eBay is slowly growing. It's getting better every month. Daily. So daily, here is my daily. My daily tends to be pretty it's all around the same. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is a little bit less. This is going to help me. So I've been thinking about balance. If you work from home or, it's hard, or you work on your phone, right? My social media is always there. Etsy's always there. eBay, I'm always getting notifications. It's hard to not work all the time. And I try to take days off, and then that kind of falls off the wagon. One of my goals for 2020 is going to be balance, and I will probably use this to drive which day is best to take off. And then these are my total sales. This is Poshmark data we're looking at now, just Poshmark. There's a steady decline in Poshmark. These are total number of sales. I've touched on this before. I think it's my average sale price is increasing, so I'm not making as many sales because people aren't willing to spend high dollar amounts as quickly as low dollar amounts. But then also time. I'm spending far less time on Poshmark because I'm also on eBay. I'm also doing the dashboard. I'm also doing YouTube. I'm also doing, it just keeps going, right? And that may not be the best thing for me. I may need to scale it back and say what is going to give me the biggest bang for my buck. I mean, you can see definitely towards the end of the year when I was really pushing the dashboard, my Poshmark sales declined. Bundles. So let's see. My offer to likes, I mean, that's pretty low. Something I've been considering, I know by looking at it every month that my offer to likes are always low, and something that I've been considering is a new pricing strategy. Right now I price high so that I can send offers. Well, that's not working. At least for me, I'm not getting a lot of sales from offer to likes. So I'm going to pricing strategy. Think about a new pricing strategy, maybe lowering my base and not trying to get as many offers from likes, just having other offers or increase my buy it nows, especially because of my time, right? I don't have a lot of time. I'm doing these other things to be sending out offers all the time. Bundles. My bundles is 26%. I mean, that's pretty good. I do have a bundle strategy that you get a free item if you with any purchase, but you have to add it to a bundle, and that helps people go back to my closet. So my bundles are pretty high. My average sale price for bundles is lower, but this is because these free items that I have, financially, they are a marketing expense. And so they are free. You know, I buy them as a marketing expense and I don't expect to make any money off of them. But those are included in here. So it's kind of driving down my bundle price. When I look at it normally and normalize for that, my bundle price, average sale price for bundles is about on par. Shipping discount, that's similar to offer to likes because I only do a shipping discount if I have to. There is, so it's slightly higher, that 0.6% difference. One month I tried to do free shipping. I offered free shipping over, I think, $50 to see if that would encourage sales, and 0.6%. So that did not work for me. Customers. Return customers. This is a new feature in the dashboard, and I'm pretty stoked about it because my repeat customer is low. We used to be a hairdresser, and if you work in retail, like, your repeat customers are where it's at. You already know they like you. You already know they like your stuff. They know your business practices, everything. So if you can get repeat customers, like, that's going to really help. And it's going also, for me, time is money. If I have customers that are just coming back to me and I'm not having to do as much in Poshmark because they already know they like my closet, that's going to help me as well. So I'm going to work on repeat customers. This is probably going to be, leave notes down below on how you do it, or if you have ideas of things that you're going to try as well, or things that you do that work. I don't do a lot of stuff with my shipping, so I think I'm going to try and increase that. I do put a business card in there and usually say, you know, thanks for, or hope you enjoy your skirt, or whatever it is. But I think I might up that and see if that helps increase, you know, do a little bit more with this shipping. Sorry, I'm getting Facebook notifications. Do a little bit more with the shipping, maybe make it look prettier or brand it a little bit more. I see people who put their names on their boxes, something like that. Instagram and social media, I'm hoping, will also help increase that, maybe going back into customers and saying, hey, thank you, you know, having a little bit more contact with customers. So definitely leave notes down below, comments if you are doing things that you think help or you have ideas. By state, I don't do a lot here so much. I'm just going to quickly look at it. Some of this is, you know, my biggest states that I sell the most to are the largest states. They have the biggest population. So it makes sense that I'm selling the most there. Other states that I sell a lot to, Oregon and Washington, I sell a decent amount of vintage, and these are, you know, kind of hipstery states. Over in this region where it gets cold, I get, what is that, New York. So New York is trendy and it gets cold, hipstery. I get a lot of, like, winter gear because I'm in Colorado, Columbia. I just did a haul, and, like, Uggs, Sorel, Columbia, the North Face, Patagonia, you know, a lot of, like, really cold where I think is why I sell so much here. And then I don't get a lot of, like bikini wear down here. So that is my sales report. Or my sales dashboard. Let's kind of see the strategies, the 2020 goals I came up with. I am going to continue to work on increasing my average sale price because I don't have as much time on reselling, because I'm going to shift to do a little bit more for the dashboard. I'm going to wait and look at eBay after Q1 and see if I want to spend the time cross-posting. Balance. That is always a constant struggle and constant goal. I'm going to work and figure out if I can consistently take at least one day off, or at least like put my phone down, between after dinner and going to bed, spend more time with the family. I got a little teary-eyed. My 2-year-old, he'll be 3 in the fall, is my last one. We're done. And he starts preschool. I registered him for preschool, and it kind of hit me like, I want to have more time to work, but then also I will never have my children home all day with me all the time again. Will all be in school. So I do want to try and have more balance and spend more time with him while he's home. And then also my daughter will start full day in the fall as well, and so I won't have afternoons with her anymore. My oldest is in school all day, so that ship has sailed. Just the summer. Pricing strategy. I think I'm going to work on lowering my pricing, not price so high for sending offers, maybe price slightly higher so that I still have wiggle room for when offers get sent to me, but maybe not price so high so that I don't have to spend as much time on sending offer to likes because it's not working. And then also maybe people will buy it now more because they're, a more reasonable price. And then customers, I'm going to work on increasing my customers, my repeat customers, trying to find ways to do that. So that is kind of my goals from a sales perspective. Now I'm going to head over to my inventory report and figure out how I'm going to meet these goals with my inventory. So let's head over there. All right, so this is the inventory dashboard. It is similarly structured as the sales report or sales dashboard. You would just copy and paste your sales information here, and then there is also a place for your inventory report. So this is all your active listings on Poshmark, and then the sales report is everything that's sold. Your summary, let me make this a little smaller. So this is just a quick view. We are looking at all of my data. So from 2019 data, things that have sold. I currently have 597 items in my inventory. Let me get my notes. That's interesting. Something I want to keep a note of. The item with the most likes, I've touched on this. I cannot move Anthropologie to save my life. This is why I like looking at my data, because anywhere that you look on social media, it's like Anthropologie, Anthropologie. I've had this dress for like 9 months. I've relisted it. It gets the most likes in my closet, but no one wants to buy it. It's super cute. So if you want a cute Anthropologie dress, head on over. But so likes does not always translate into sales. Keep that in mind. Item that I have listed the longest, this is a free item that you get with purchase. I relist a lot, and you'll see that in my data in a minute. My highest revenue brand. So what is bringing me the most money is Coach. That's not surprising to me. I look at my stuff every month, but on a whole, I've changed strategies on what brands that I pick up. So for the entire year, Coach is still the highest revenue brand. What category has the most sales is shoes. And I love shoes, so I will take that. Thank you. And they are so easy to list. I have sold 62% of my inventory. That's a pretty good number for a reseller, especially because I consider myself a part-time reseller, especially now that I'm doing the dashboard and stuff too. Selling 62% of your inventory is pretty good. This is just all of my inventory. We're not going to look at that for the sake of this video. This is, let me make this a little bit smaller. These are my listing totals. On average, I am listing 105 items a month. You can see in my chart, so green is what's been listed, pink is what has sold. You can see my listings kind of shift towards the end, and that's because I relist. So I don't, things that I listed here, I do still have on stock, things that I purchased, but I relist them. So it looks like I'm listing. I don't source enough to be able to list every single day. So I have to relist items in order to hit that. Something that is interesting here, so I mentioned when we looked at my sales, my December numbers were down. And so a lot of people, and this is why I want to look at the data, is to fill out the survey. Because for me specifically, I am listing a lot. And there's a lot of talk in the community about if you're listing every day and you're listing a lot and you're getting the, social aspect on Poshmark, you'll make a lot of sales. That's not true for me. I was listing like a beast in December because I didn't do as much in November because I was doing the dashboard and I was like, I got to pick up these sales. I'm going to list like a beast. And I was listing 204 items divided by, I don't know how many days we're at. I'm filming this on the 29th. So 204 divided by, I was listing on average 7 items a day. And it's probably even more than that because I haven't listed this weekend because I've been busy. So I was listing a lot of items, but my sales, I think my sell-through rate when I looked at this was like 10%, which is significantly lower than that sell-through rate that I've had for the entire year. So that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to be relisting if it's not actually bringing in more sales and that's taking up time. That's something I may want to look at. I'm trying to find ways to still make sales without spending a lot of time on it. So that's, let me try relisting. I may look at, and I'll look at my data again. When I try these new strategies, I'll go back and look at the data, but I may try looking at not relisting as much and just listing my new items, and just maybe that'll give me more time to source new items. So brands, as mentioned before, I don't share numbers, so these don't have numbers in them. They would have numbers in your dashboard. You would have, your total number sold, your dollar amounts and stuff. Quickly, Columbia is my most sold, and that's interesting because I've debated not picking up as much Columbia. It doesn't sell as high for me. I see a lot of it in Colorado, but it doesn't sell as high for me, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up or not. But knowing that it is my most sold item, I may still pick it up, but just be a little bit more specific about what I pick up. Highest total dollars is Coach. We saw that before. It's bringing me in the most money, so I likely sell a good amount of it. I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. There we go. I likely sell a lot of it at high prices. Highest average sale price is Bloomingdale's. It was like this gorgeous suit, and it was only one of it. That's where you have to be conscious when you look at your average sale price. If you only have one of them, it's not necessarily a true picture because it's not an average, but knowing that suit sold really high, I'll keep that in mind. Fastest selling brands, I don't even know what this was. That's like a Target brand. It must have been something that someone really wanted. And then this is my top 10 by picture. So things that I want, let me see. Brands by item sold. This is what I'm selling the most of. Columbia Vintage, Coach, the North Face. J. Crew is up there. That's more of like a bread and butter. It's a lower average sale price typically, but I sell a lot of it. So that's going to help me decide what to pick up. A lot of these, Columbia is also typically a lower average sale price. Depending, jackets and shoes sell higher. So these are things to keep in mind. I am selling a lot of them. White House Black Market, lower average sale price. Banana Republic, lower average sale price. So this is going to help me figure out, so if I am going to pick a lower average sale price, those brands are probably okay to do it for because I do sell a lot of them. Totals, these are the brands that are making me the most money. Not a huge surprise here. I've mentioned a lot. We see a lot of Columbia, the North Face, Sorel, Patagonia. If I sell, I mainly pick up jackets and shoes from those because they sell higher. Dooney and Burke are purses. Michael Kors is only purses I sell. Calvin Klein, I sell a decent amount of dresses by Calvin Klein, so I will keep that in mind when I'm picking up dresses, that sells. Adriana Papel is also dresses. Her dresses are gorgeous. So this is kind of helping me figure out as I go through and source what brands I'm going to pick up. Average sale price. These are my average sale price. St. John, no surprise there. This was one dress. It was gorgeous, but it sold really high. This is also one or two dresses. It's a good brand for me to keep an eye out for. I don't see it often, but it did. Their dresses sell high. Tiffany and Company, no surprise there. These were amazing cowboy boots. Ostrich, which I'm learning about cowboy boots because they sold fast and they sold in one day. So definitely Mark by Marc Jacobs. I mean, none of these are really surprises, right? Jenny Yu, really pretty dresses. This is helpful for me to keep an eye out for dresses. What dresses sell high? Fastest selling. I don't mind buying things if they're a little bit on the lower sale price if they're going to sell really quickly because it's a quick flip. These are Chacos sell fast. This was a really cool dress. None of these are anything to write home about that sell really fast for me. Yeah, those denims were a relisted item, so that's not a true. And keep that in mind when you're talking about average sale price or days on hand. I don't look at that number a lot because I focus on average sale price, and so things are going to sit a little bit longer because I have a higher average sale price, and I also relist a lot. So my average days on hand aren't always, I mean, they're accurate in Poshmark, but as far as how long I've had the item, it's not accurate because I relist a lot. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at it. And it's also not something that I look at a lot. If you are trying to sell lots of items and do quick flips, then you want to really focus on the metrics of days on hand. You know, what is selling fast for you? That's not something, I'll touch on it, but I don't really look at that so much. Okay, what is selling for me? Let's see. This is where I'm going to start strategizing as I'm outsourcing and I'm spending less time reselling. What is going to give me the biggest bang for my buck? Shoes, I sell a lot of. Jackets, that's going to be seasonal though. Dresses. Okay, so those look like my top one. Bags, and then bags are up there. No surprise to me there, but it is good to look at for the whole year. Okay. And then my average sale price. So I sell a lot of those categories. Do they sell high? Shoes is up there for sure for average sale price and quantity. Jackets and coats is also up there. Bags is huge average sale price. So it doesn't look like I sell quite as many bags. It is one of my higher ones, but not as many, but they do sell really high. So, they sit a little bit longer, which is fine. They're super easy to list too, so I don't mind bags as much because I can list them quickly. Let's see, pants. My average sale price for pants is up there, but I don't sell a lot of them. Dresses, my average sale price is up there. So these are, you're noticing things that I'm selling a lot of also are having an average sale price, which is telling me my strategy of increasing my average sale price. I'm also selling a lot of my high average sale price. Dining, this was like a Starbucks cup. That was one thing. I don't have a lot of home stuff. I haven't gotten there. So that's kind of where were my jackets. These are kind of, I'm looking at this, and what this is telling me, shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags. Those are my biggest bang for my buck. I'm selling the most of them, and I am selling them at the highest price. And because I'm going to probably rescale back my reselling a little bit to focus more on social media and the dashboard and doing things in the community, these are probably what's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck. Average, my days on hand are low, but like I said, a lot of that is because I relist. So I sell a lot of women's. Majority is women's. Kids was down here. This is a lot. Towards the beginning of the year, I bought a lot of kids stuff. And then I looked at my average sale price over, let me make this a little smaller so you can see it all. So I was selling a lot of kids stuff, but then I noticed my average sale price for kids stuff is lower. So I don't really sell much kids stuff anymore. Unless it's something that my kids had and it's still in really good shape. I am getting into men's. The average sale price for men's is high, but I'm not selling a lot of it. And I'm going to put that in here. That's one of my goals, is to learn menswear better, so that I can sell more of it, because it is what I am selling sells high, but I'm not selling a lot of it. Okay, sell-through rates. So anything over anything over my average, I mean, I always want to increase that, but anything over that, it seems to be okay. I can always work on increasing it, but let's see. So shoes is higher, jackets is higher, jeans is low. That's bringing down my average. I think I might consider not selling jeans anymore. They just don't really do well for me. I don't know if I don't wear a lot of jeans, so maybe I don't know how to pick them. I don't know. Bags is low. So that's something I'm going to look at. Why are my bags sell-through rate lower? Some of this is bags tend to be higher, so people don't want to buy as many of them. Pants is higher, shirts, dresses. So dresses is low. Bags and dresses, my sell-through rates are low. So I'm going to dig deeper into that in a minute and see what is selling low. You know, what doesn't sell well for dresses, and maybe look at that a little bit more. These accessories and jewelries are my free items, so I don't really pay attention to that. So that's that. So now let's dig deeper. So what we learned from this page, shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags are kind of like my BOLO categories. I sell them at a high sale price, and I sell them, a lot of them. Something that I want to dig deeper into is my sell-through rates and what's selling well in dresses and bags. I'm going to look at shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags as a whole, because that's, I think, what I'm going to focus a bit more on going into the new year. So this is sizes. You can only find what you can find, right? Like, I can't order only size 7, but something in here to consider. Higher sizes. Some of these I just listed, so that makes sense. Like that 14 I just listed this week, so that doesn't concern me. These are kids, girls and boys. I'm not doing boys and girls stuff anymore unless it's my kids stuff, and then I'm just excited if it sells. I don't really consider it, you know, I'm not sourcing for it. But higher price items don't sell. Let's look at these sell-through rates. Anything above the 60% I'm good with. That's above. 7.5, that's really high. I mean, these are the sizes that sell fast, right? That's higher. I mean, that's right on the cusp is 10. 6 is on the cusp. Those are all on the cusp. But you can tell the sell-through rate goes down with these lower 25. So size 5, that's low. And you can see, right, you can see kind of the trend here. As we're getting lower in shoe sizes, my sell-through rate is lower. So I may be a bit more cognizant of picking up the smaller brands. This size 5, I think, was a Gucci, so I'm going to pick that up, like, period. But size 5 in, you know, something that doesn't bring me a high-ticket item, I may just pass on it. Spending my time and money efficiently, so spending the money purchasing something that may not be selling well for me, but then also the time of listing it and sharing it and taking pictures and all of that. That may not be, and for me, I'm trying to make the biggest bang for my buck, right? So then let's look at dresses. Okay, so my sell-through rates for dresses, I'm going to do the same thing too. For the sake of time, I'm going to go through, I mean, smalls are lower. I mean, my sell-through rates on most of these are lower because in general they're lower, right? Some of that's seasonality now because it's the winter. Yeah, so what are my high ones? A 14. Okay, so it looks like the higher, you know, plus size larges are selling better. So I may focus more. What do you have here? Petite, size 6, juniors, extra small. The lower, so dresses, I'm probably going to focus on higher sizes. And then let's look at, oh, there's not sizes. Jackets. Let's look at jackets. Again, the higher sizes, 16W is selling fastest. But something I noticed too, it doesn't show in this data, but my average sale price for for me specifically, my average sale price for plus size tends to be lower, and that's mainly because of what I can find. I can't find high value items in plus size, but they're selling fast, so that's something to consider. Let's look at sizes again. Petites are a no. I have that 2X I just listed. Juniors, I'm probably not going to pick up juniors anymore. They don't really sell. Size 2 again. Yeah, these smaller sizes in shoes and in clothing just sit. So I think if I'm going to pick up a smaller size something, it needs to be like a big bang for my buck. Subcategory. So I want to look here. Shoes and jackets in general tend to be doing good for me. I will probably look outside of this, but for the sake of this video and time, I'm going to look at dresses and bags because my sell-through rates for those were kind of low. So I want to look at what types of bags are selling for me. Backpacks, laptops, baby bags, and briefcases. So that's something to note. Those sell well. Those 100%. I've sold every single one of those. I've picked up mini bags. Mini bags are really big and trendy right now. I know that. Wallets, that's good to know. I don't usually look at a lot of wallets. I think those were mainly ones that my mom gave me, but it's good to know that wallets, sell. Anything above the 60 is decent. This satchels are right around the 60 for me. Hobos are lower. That's interesting because I do pick up a lot of hobos. So maybe they're not really big right now. And then I'm going to look at these different types of bags and figure out why they're not selling as quickly. My hunch is some of this is that bags just sit for a little bit longer because they're a much higher sale price. But dresses, let's look at dresses. I sell a lot of them, but the sell-through rate was low, which means that I'm buying a lot, but I'm not selling, like I'm selling a lot because I'm buying a lot of them, not because they're selling well, if that makes sense. Like if I was selling every single one of them, I would have 50%. Or 100%. So it means that I'm just buying a lot of dresses, which is why I'm selling a lot of them. So let's look. Maxi is at 27. That's interesting. Mini. So something I hate about Poshmark. I don't love eBay with all of the categories that they have, but dresses on Poshmark kill me because it's either a mini or a midi. And most dresses that I have are not minis. They're like knee length, right? But that's not a midi. So then I usually classify it as a mini, and I wonder if I may start looking at I don't know, trying to figure out SEOs and descriptions for this, because I wonder if people are not searching mini because they're thinking like, when I think of mini, I think of like my butt hanging out, right? But as far as the dresses, I put a lot of them under mini because they're not true midi, mid-calf length. Long sleeve is lower, but it is one of my higher. Prom is high. And that is something I knew last year. I have quite a few dresses now that I've been sourcing for prom because I did sell a lot of prom dresses, and they tend to sell at a higher average sale price as well. You can see, yeah, it's up there. And that's the same with maxi. Some of my maxi are like more formal gowns. Backless is higher, so that's good to know people like backless. My wedding is lower, and I'm fine with that. That's a hard market, and it's a very specific timing market. So I wonder if this will increase when wedding season comes back up. Asymmetrical. That's interesting. One shoulder, and I noticed that. I think I'm going to quit picking up one shoulder unless they are like super below. I know it'll sell. So now let's look at men's. Yep, let's look at men's and see what is doing well for me. Men's, the shoes and the bags sell high. I think this was like a Coach briefcase. I think it was just one item. I don't have a lot of men's data to look at because I've only recently started picking it up. Jeans sell low. Average sale price is low. Pants are okay. Shirts are on the lower side. Jackets and coats are 100%. Sweaters are 100%. Okay, that's shoes are low. And that's interesting because I've been focusing on shoes. So I'm going to give a little bit of time. Sometimes things, I've only been slowly starting to look at men's or sell men's, and so it takes a couple months to get things going. But this is good to know moving forward. Jackets and coats sell well. Pants are up there. Maybe try and learn more about shoes and jeans. Maybe men don't want that. Some of this too, a lot of those jeans are vintage Levi's men's, but women buy them a lot. So let me put that down. I may switch up, put them into women's, say that they're unisex, say that they're men's, but women wear them a lot, and see if they sell better in women's. I think that's it. Yep. So, and then this is all brands, but I'm not going to look at that. That you can go through and look at for each specific brand that you sell. So that's it. So what did I learn from, let me open this. What did I learn from my inventory? Shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags. Because I'm going to scale back my reselling a little bit, I think I'm going to focus on shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags. Jackets more so in the winter, dresses more so in the summer, kind of do that offset, but really just bang it out. I tend to only go to a couple stores. I think I'm going to try and hit more sourcing spots and spend less time there and only hit, try and see if I can just do shoes, jackets, bags, and purses and hit up a bunch of different sourcing spots to really ramp up my inventory. Something I wanted to note too, so 60% of my inventory is selling, which is great, but if I want to increase how much I'm selling, I need to have more items to sell. If I have 60% of 500 items, then I'm selling, a certain amount. If I have 60% of 1,000 items, I'm selling more. So I think I'm going to try and ramp up how much I'm sourcing and how much I'm listing, but do it very strategically. Shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags. Shoes and bags I can list significantly faster because they're easier to take pictures of. And then I also am, as far as this is more of a brand, it's going to take me outside of that realm. Vintage in the top brands was one of my top sellers from a total quantity sold, average sale price. I mean, vintage is high up there. So I will probably always pick up vintage, as long as it's good vintage, right? So really focus and hone in on that and kind of see how it works if I kind of hone in more on a niche and things that are selling and working well for me. And then I'm also going to learn menswear. This sells at a higher price and I am selling some of it. I just need to spend a little bit more time learning and messing with menswear to see what is selling for me. So those are my goals for 2020. I am going to try and have a better balance between reselling and doing the dashboard and supporting people to learn how to use their data. Make sure to leave notes below if you have things that you would like to see. Do you want webinars? Do you want classes? Do you want a consult? Whatever it is, I'm open to see how this kind of formulates. I am going to continue to work on my average sale price so that I can sell less items and still make a decent money, kind of keep that. I'm going to look at eBay after Q1 and see if that is worth my time. Pricing strategy, I'm going to try and lower some prices and see if people are buying more outright and sending less offer to likes. Work on my customer brand. As far as sourcing goes, shoes, jackets, dresses, and bags, I am going to try and focus mainly on those as well as vintage and work on my sell-through rates for dresses and bags. Work on learning a little bit of men's as well. So stay tuned with me. I will continue. This is an ongoing thing, right? I continue to look at my data and see how these strategies work and work with them as they are working. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified of my newest content. And then head over to Instagram. I have a lot of really cool ideas that I'm going to be doing on Instagram in 2020. So make sure to follow me over there and make sure to fill out the link down below for the Poshmark survey so I can do a big, huge analysis and see what actually is working on Poshmark to help you get sales. So have a wonderful day and Happy New Year!